Excuse me. Oh my goodness. So I'm Yvette and I'm from Old Times Paint Parties. If you don't know who I am already, if you're watching from the Craft Around the Clock group, this is my Craft Around the Clock segment. So if you're not a part of the Craft Around the Clock group, make sure you pop over there and how do I say that? Be a part of that page. I don't want to say the words. You know how Facebook can get. Okay. So I'm also going live here on my business page and also being streamed into the Craft Around the Clock group. So tonight we're going to paint a little gingerbread. And I don't know why my chat box isn't coming up over here, but it's not. So I'll have to kind of, if I look over there, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm trying to see your comments because they're not coming up in front of me for some strange reason. All right, so I'm going to be painting on a pot lid. I was down at the thrift store and I grabbed a couple of these pot lids. You can get these, find them in the random boxes. You know, they have a whole pile of them in there because they want to, in case you need one to match a set at home or whatnot. But these were like a couple bucks a piece. So I'm going to paint a gingerbread on it. We're going to see how that goes. So here's the little knob that we're going to use as his nose. How's everybody doing? Sorry, I have to look over here. That's quite unfortunate, actually. I don't know why my comments aren't kicking in there. I'll move this over closer. Hopefully I can watch them. Thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for the sprinkles. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to just get started so we don't waste any more time. So I'm going to be using, I already prepped my pot lid just to save some time. So what I did was I made sure I cleaned it thoroughly, washed soap and water, and then I cleaned off any residue with some alcohol and let that dry. And then I just painted it with 2 coats of white paint, kind of to serve as a primer. You could probably also spray prime these outside. That would also work. So I'm just going to grab my honey brown. Honey brown is the color I always paint my gingerbread with. One of my favorite colors. I like this color a lot. So I'm just going to get the edge here first. And then I'm going to dry that so that I can not have to hang on to the edge and get paint all over myself. It's been a while since I've painted a gingerbread. Hopefully it all goes well. Hello from South Carolina. Lots of people in here. It really bugs me when I don't have my comments in front of me, but sometimes they don't pop up. And I guess Mr. FB is not being kind to me tonight. All right, so we're gonna just set that down. I'm gonna just dry that side, just those sides, just a little bit, just because I want to be able to touch it and I don't want to get my hands in wet paint. All right, maybe then I can look at some comments. Oh, you got your Happy Meal. Good, Virginia. Good, good. Oh, you just watched the Black Pumpkin? Yes, I just put that line drawing up for everybody in case you were wanting that. It's posted now. And I know Tracy shared my post for the line drawing in the Craft Around the Clock group as well. I saw that pop up in there. Hi, Miss Tracy. I just noticed your comment there. Isn't it frustrating when Facebook doesn't do what you want it to do? Quite annoying, I must say. Hello from Virginia. Hi, Sue. All right. Thanks for the sprinkles. Hi, Deanna. All right. So I think that's probably good enough. We won't carry on with that too much. All right. So let's just get this top part on. And we might have to do a couple coats because we're going over top of white, which might show through a little bit. So let's get this on here. Hello, Miss Krista. So this is a pretty cheap surface. I mean, you can go to like at the thrift store. I'm sure you probably at your thrift store have seen these pot lids, random boxes full of them. They're readily available everywhere, or you might have some yourself that you can use as well. Don't be stealing the good ones and having, you know, no lids for your pots. Excuse me. That would not be good. Oh dear, Judy. That's not good. Well, I'm hoping that mine goes out. I haven't, knock wood, I've been pretty lucky. This is probably the first time I haven't been able to see my comments up in front of me here and having to use my other device, which I normally do use my both devices, but I do like to see them so I can kind of look up here at you and see them, but it's not going to happen tonight. Sorry, ladies, not going to happen. All right, so I don't want to cook this too much because the metal does heat up with this heat gun, so I don't want it to, it does get a little toasty warm when you go to touch it too, so it is pretty warm. You just have to be careful not to burn your wee self. All right, so we'll get this side done again, and then we should be good to go to transfer our little face on there. I have to be on time tonight because I'm not the last presenter. There is, I think Dina's after me. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. Okay, let's get this last little bit on the side. And then we can add another coat to the top and we should be good to go. You get to watch all my boring base coating. Don't fall asleep and don't leave me yet. Don't leave me. Hi, Dana. Don't run away on me. You have a drawer full of unmatched ones that I have no pots for. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Well, that's good. If you have extras kicking around, you can make some little pot lid paintings. You can do other things other than these gingerbread. There's many little ideas out there. You can do a snowman head, you can do gingerbread, you can do Santas, and I have a bigger one that I'm going to be doing a Santa on as well. So, but you can do all kinds of fun stuff on here. You could do a scarecrow face, anything you like. All right, let's get this on here and we'll be away to the races. One more quick dry after this, and all of that boring base coating is over. Because I mean, this is pretty straightforward stuff. Oh, I have a chunk in there I don't want. There we go. Who's saying hi to me? Oh, there's Anne. Carlotta. All right, thanks for joining, ladies. Okay, so I think that's pretty good for our base coating. I'm just going to clean my little brush off here so it doesn't get all hardened. I did actually leave it the other night and forgot about it. That was disappointing when I went to use it. It was a little bit hard, so we had to fix it up. All right, so I'm going to just dry this again quick and say hello to some more people. Hey, that would be lovely, Cindy. You have all, if you have that many pot lids, girl, you can hang them wherever you like. Be many of them to hang. Ooh, I'm stuck to my paper. So there we go. You don't want that. You don't want that. All right, we're almost in business here. We're almost in business. Thanks for the hearts and the sprinkles. You guys are great. Thank you so much. All right, now I'm just gonna let this cool down for 1 second because like I said, the metal heats up. Just let that cool down just for a second because it does heat up quite a lot with that heat gun. And I don't want to pull the paint off because it'll still kind of be soft. So here's my little gingerbread face that I drew out here. So I'm just going to try and get him centered. I want that center of that nose kind of right there. Thanks for the sprinkles. Brand of paint. I use DecoArt Americana. All right, so I'm just going to transfer his eyes on here and get blocking those in. I tried to do a pretty simple design, and gingerbread, you know, there's not a whole lot to paint on these, so I was hoping that we would have enough time to finish this little guy. I'm going to grab my pencil and we'll block in these eyes and get started on those. So I'm just transferring with some carbon paper and my tracing paper here with my design on it. It's just quicker sometimes for me to draw it out on here than to draw it straight on my surface. And then at least I know I have it even and it's all going to look hopefully right and a little cohesive there. Oh, Cindy, thank you. That's very nice of you to say that. All right, so let's see. Yeah, see, it's a little bit wet, but I'm going to try and go with it because you see what happens when your paint still is a little damp. It doesn't like to transfer, so I'm just going to see if I can straighten up my lines here with my pencil. Otherwise, I'll be painting blind, and I don't want to do that on a live. Well, we're going to hope that these are as even as they possibly could get. We're going to find out. We are going to find out. Maybe the hard way. All right. So I'm going to grab, I have a little bit of natural buff here, and I'm going to just paint his eyes, the background of his eyes with that. You could use any light color, light buttermilk, white. You could use white if you want to. I'm going to use this color. These eyes are a little bit funny shaped here. I gave them kind of googly eyes. I don't know. We're going to see how they turn out. Hi guys, I'm not ignoring you. I honestly am having a hard time seeing those comments as they come in because my phone is smaller than my iPad and they roll by so fast that I can't see them unless I scroll backwards. And if I do that, I can't paint. So I will try my best to see some when we're drying in between. And I will also make sure I go back and look after the live is over to answer any questions or pick up what I missed. So I do apologize. Facebook is not my friend this evening. Okay. I'm just getting his eyes blocked in here. There, it always kind of looks a little funky there off the start. It doesn't always look like much of anything until we get a little bit further. Thanks for popping in, everybody. I see some more people coming in there. Hi, Sherry. All right, we're gonna hope these are, I think this one's a little bit bigger than the other, so we'll have to straighten that up a little bit. We'll get it all sorted out here. Get it all sorted out. So I think this one's a little wider here on the right, and I do believe we can fix that just by bringing this one out just a little bit more. And hopefully that works out okay. We'll add another coat because this side is sort of dry already. I didn't have to pick up my dryer. We'll just start right back over here and fill in on that second coat and keep going. Oops. Let me just get that off of there. Went a little outside the lines. Again, this is, you know, the base coating is, oh, it's a yawner sometimes. I know it's a yawner for me too. It is a necessary part of your painting, but, you know, not always the most fun to watch. I don't have any problem saying that it's not my favorite part at all. I find it tedious, and let's just get this part done so we can get to the fun stuff. That's me. But we have to do it, so. All right, I hope that's even enough. Hopefully it looks good enough. We will find out. And I'm going to grab a little black for those center dots. Those filled in while we wait. And then I can dry it all at one time. There's Miss Leanne. And before you ask, Miss Leanne, yes, I will have a line drawing for you. I know you're listening. I will have a line drawing for you. This I promise. The first thing she always asks me, Miss Leanne, she asks, I hope, Yvette, you have a line drawing for that. All right, let's see here. Let's give this a quick drying, and then we can move on to a little bit of shading. So there, he's looking pretty fun there right now. Got some googly eyes going on. I still think this one's a little bit skinnier than that one over there, but you know what? We're going to go with it just for the sake of, we got to keep moving on. Hello, Susan. All right, let's do a little shading here. So I'm going to shade around the outer edge of his eyes with a little burnt umber. And I'm also going to do some shading here around the outer edge of his face. That's where we're going next. We'll get our shade on here. All right, so I'm just going to move my water a little bit closer so I'm not reaching so far. And we'll grab some of that burnt umber on our brush. And I think I'll start under here, under his eyes. Nope, no turkey, Sylvia. It's a gingerbread. A turkey would be cute, though. There's another idea right there. You could do a turkey. He would be cute. So we'll just bring that down a little bit more from his eyes, like so. And then we'll go around the outside edge of his eyes as well. What do we got for time? Okay, we're cooking here. Sorry for the turning and the spinning, but I have to reach. And I know I need a lazy Susan. I've heard it from somebody else. Somebody told me that the last time I was live. I need to get one. Oh, thanks, Denise. All right, let's go. So we'll get this on around his eyes, and then I'll do a little bit of shading around the outer edge of this lid. And this is a tiny little lid here. We'll see how much I can get on the edge that we can notice here. You found one, a lazy Susan at the Goodwill? I should check there, you know, because I probably could find one there too. I keep saying I'm going to get one, but I forget. I forget when I'm out and about. You know how when you go to the grocery store and you have all these intentions to get certain things and you forget half of your list? That's me when I shop. So I'm just going to kind of scuff around the edge there a little bit. Add a little bit of that brown on there. I'm just going to wet my brush a little bit more so it flows a little bit better. There we go. And I'll just get it on initially, and then we can kind of make it a little wider so we can see it a little bit better here on the front side of the pot, of the lid, I mean. Yeesh. Thanks, Wendy. All right, we're almost around to the very start here. And then you could also, you know, throw a little bit of this brown on the side of your lid as well. You know, down over in here, you could probably also add, I won't do all of this, but I'll just show you. If you have a lid like this one, some of them are not as high profile as this one. They're a little more flat, but this one has that little lip there. So I think what I would do is add some brown on there as well. And I'll just do a bit here so we can go ahead and get back to his face, because that's the fun part we want to see. But you can, by all means, you can scuff some of that brown around the outer edge like that as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and make that a little wider and bring that shade in just a bit more so I can see it a bit. And then we'll get back to his eyes. Hi, Connie. All right, I think that's good enough for now. And now I'm going to go around the inner side. I'm just going to dry that quick because I know I'm going to stick my hand in that. I know it. I know me. All right, we got 20 minutes. Let's get crack-a-lackin' here. Crack-a-lackin'. Oh my goodness, sorry for keep wiping my nose. I hope I'm not catching a cold. I've been sneezing all day. All day. All right. I'm going to go on the inner edge here. And shade in there. I knew. See, I'm glad I dried that because it is still a little sticky there and I'm sticking my hand right in it. All right, we'll let that dry for a second. And we can add a little bit of white to his eyes. So he has a little highlight line in there. So we're going to come up this side. That. And we'll come up this side on the other one. All the water came out the brush just at that moment. Oh, don't say that, Sue. I don't even want to hear that. I've been so lucky to not catch the big C. I don't want it. But I'm just like, I don't know if it's allergies or what it is, ladies, but I'm sorry, I have to keep wiping my nose. It's so not dignified, but I have to. Okay, so I think that's pretty dry. So there is a couple of little spots on here that I just want to transfer on so that I can get them kind of straight. His eyes have a little line in here. Things just don't want to cooperate. There we go. So there's a little line here that I made, and I'll show you. Okay. Just going to shade up here. And I'll do the same thing on this side. And then we're going to give him some eyelashes. I'm also going to separate his eyes here with a little shade just in that center. And I'll do a little back-to-back shade right there. His eyes are starting to look like eyes now, a little bit, eh? All right, so I'm going to grab my liner brush and I'm going to grab a little bit of white and I'm going to put a little separation line here in between his eyes so we know that that's two different eyeballs. What do we got going on here? And then I'm going to grab some black and I'm going to start giving him some fancy dancy eyelashes. So I'm just watering down my black with my liner brush. I want it to be a bit watery, so I'm going to start up here and I'm just going to start flicking out those little eyelashes. He's going to have lots of eyelashes. Lots and lots. And then you can always go back and fill those in a little bit more. And I'm just going to outline that eye a little bit, like so. And then we're going to come over here and put eyelashes on this side. Now this is going to be a little bit of a challenge because I don't have a lot to rest my hand on over here. Painting on these little funny surfaces like this can be a challenge sometimes because it's not a flat surface like a canvas or something like that. But we're going to do it. We're going to get her done. All right. He's looking pretty snazzy there. We have his eyelashes, and I'm going to paint his icing next before I put the dots on his eyes, because if I put the dots there first, what will happen is my hand will most definitely go through those dots and smudge them, and I don't want to have to do a lot of fixing here. All right. Checking my time there. And I think that's pretty good. We got his eyelashes on now. Yes, he's got some, oh, I'm going to add a little bit of, just maybe a few down here in the bottom edge, just for fun. All right. I'm liking him. Okay, so I'm going to grab my round brush and I'm going to grab some white, and we're going to put some, add his icing now so he starts to look like a gingerbread. I'll get my white there. And I'll start, I think I'll start over here, and I'll just start bringing in my icing all around my edge. And then I'll give it a little bit of a dry, because again, if I leave it wet like that to dry on its own, surely I will stick my hand in it. And it makes me nervous because I know me, I will stick it in there and smudge it all over. Ooh, he's starting to look gingerbready now. Thanks for the hearts. I see them popping up there. Thanks, guys. Oh, I think I'm going to like this guy. I think I'm going to like him. Looks cute already. All right, look at, we got icing. Woohoo! That's cute. All right, let's dry this quick. I'll dry it quick. Maybe I can catch up on a couple of comments. Let's go back here. Oh, thank you, Janice. Yes, you need to start painting with me. Yes, for sure. He does have big eyes, doesn't he, Deanna? He's going back here. Now we have some of these spots on here that are a little bit thicker than others, so hopefully I still don't drag my... what surfaces am I using? Someone just asked me. It is a pot lid, Connie. Alrighty. Okay, so we're going to add some eyebrows now. I'm going to just grab some of my... That pot lid is hot. Ooh. It gets a little warm. A little warm. So we'll add a couple eyebrows. Like so. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush a little bit of marigold on here. I like to dry brush my gingerbread with a little... I'm going to dry those eyebrows because I just did a thing. Just did a thing there, and I don't want to smudge. Before I dry brush, I'll try to stay away from them, but I'm using this big lunar blender here, so it's a, I think it's a 1 inch. Yeah, a 1 inch. So it covers a lot of area, so I don't want to smudge into my eyebrows. So I'll try to be really careful. So I'm just going to rub that onto there. This gives a little bit of texture on here, a little bit of different look. All right, make sure that's dry enough. Oops, a little too much on there. All right, we'll try and rub that in. Talking to myself more than anything, I guess. Telling myself what to do here. Okay. So I'll try and get a little bit up in here between his eyebrows and try not to disturb those too much in case I smudge. All right. So I got a little bit more here than I really wanted to, but we're going to just keep carrying on because we're almost done this guy. So I should be able to, in 8 minutes, get him finished for you. So I'm just going to transfer his little mouth on here. I hope. It hasn't been transferring too good on this surface for some reason. We're going to give it a go. Oh, that's better. Well, I probably do that too. Janice, talk to myself and laugh out loud too. All right, so I'm going to grab a little bit of red, and I'm just going to dry brush a little bit of a glow on his cheeks here. Grab a bit more from the other side. Thanks for the hearts and the thumbs up. Okay, I'll get this on here and then I will shade in his mouth. And then we can finish up the last little bit. We still have to paint his nose, but if I don't get it painted on camera, I definitely will off and show the picture. So it's just going to be a honey brown color as well. Okay, so we'll get his mouth shaded on there. Just going to grab some of that burnt umber color. And you can line this on if you want to. I prefer to shade it on just because I have more control with my shader doing it this way. But you could line it on if you want to. That's entirely up to you. And this way it gets lined and shaded all at the same time. So you can do two steps in one. All right, we got 5 minutes. So I'll just get these little smile lines on. Okay, well that's looking pretty cute. All right, just dry that quick. I have you craving cookies. I can't help you there. I cannot help you there. All right, so what you could also do here is I'm going to grab a bit of that red and a bit of white, and I'm just going to mix it together to make a pink color. And we can put a couple of hearts here on his cheeks. Grab a bit of red there and mix that in just for a little contrast on there. All right. So I think we're down to, we'll put some dots on his eyes, and then I can start to work on the nose. Like I said, I'll start working on the nose, but I may not be able to get to the whole thing and put it on there, but that's okay. We'll do our best to. So I'll just get these little dots on here so the guy can see. And I'll just add a couple of tiny ones here. And I'm also going to put a couple dots on our little hearts here. All right, so basically his face is done. So we can just kind of move that, scooch that over to the side, and I'll start to paint the nose out. And we have 2 minutes left, so we may have to just get as far as we can with this. And finish it after with a photo of it. All right, so let's dry that. I like him. Okay, so now I can kind of hold the top and then I can get the sides. Sorry, I'm not in the camera shot there. I have 1 minute left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off here because I think it's Dina coming up next on her segment. So I will show a picture. I will take a picture of this one with his nose on. So I don't know if you can kind of, he's going to have his nose will be shaded out, but there, you can kind of see what he's going to look like. I'm going to, dry brush his nose and get it to match his face too, but that's kind of what he's going to look like. I'll just leave that there for a second. All right, so my time is up, everybody. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it inspires you to paint your own pot lid. All right, we'll see y'all soon.